Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Jayanti Kamath. I'm an IVF consultant, practicing obstetrician and gynecologist since the past 24 years. And today I'm super excited to be a part of the Adya initiative by Charak Pharma, which is a series of online sessions discussing about various women's health issues. In India, we say Matrudeva Bhava. That means motherhood, mother is equated to God and motherhood is divine. But some women, due to some reason, cannot achieve it, and then it leads to a disappointment. So today we'll be discussing about infertility, everything about infertility, and my co-host, actor, singer Rajeshwari will be joining me soon. So, infertility is a topic to which a lot of stigma, taboo, and myths have been attached since ages. So, today we'll be talking about what is infertility, what are the solutions to infertility, how do we exactly go about it, and how to achieve pregnancy and parenthood.
Hello, doctor.
Hello.
Am I visible to you?
Yes, you're
Can
visible.
you hear me?
Yeah.
Good evening to you, doctor.
Good evening.
And good evening to everyone who is joined in on Charak Pharma. Aha. So I welcome you all. Doctor, I'm just going to welcome you and everybody else
Thank you.
on the Charak Adya live session. This is a campaign to create awareness about women's health, their mental and their physical well-being, bring it out on a social platform to discuss women's health issues so that it's better understood, addressed, all the myths busted, and we hope to strengthen women, empower women so that they start focusing on their own health. Yeah, doctor.
Yes.
I am there. Okay. I must introduce everyone to Dr. Jayanti Kamath, who has been in the profession for about 24 years. She's an obstetrician and an infertility specialist. She'll have a lot to tell us about fertility and infertility. Doctor, I welcome once again. I welcome
Thank you.
you on Charak Adya today. And I think the best way to start with today's discussion is before we get on to infertility, could you explain
Yeah.
to us what is fertility in the first place?
Okay. Fertility is the capacity to reproduce or to have a baby.
Yeah.
That in simple, it simply means that.
And to have a baby. Now, doctor, hota hai aise hi na ki when we say having a baby, it seems like the most simple thing to do. Yeah.
Yes.
You meet, you get married, then the next thing you know that you are pregnant. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very simple. And that's how we have always heard. People have gotten married and within the year they have delivered babies. Then where suddenly we have started discussing about infertility, it's not happening the same way. It's not a cakewalk. It's not even a walk in the park. It's like a huge trudge up various terrains. It becomes like an adventure for people because you don't know what to expect. So could you please throw
Yes.
light on infertility?
Yeah. See, first let me come to the definition of infertility. When exactly we say that a couple is infertile. So whenever a couple is unable to conceive, even after 1 year of regular intercourse, without
Okay.
using any birth control methods, they come under the infertility bracket. The
Okay.
1 year is given because that is the period why we say 1 year, because 80 to 90% of the couples conceive within that period. So that is why we take the limit as 1 year.
Okay. So if 1 year one has tried to have a
Yes.
baby,
Yeah.
um, you know, in that 1 year, there's only not just that one factor of having tried for a month.
Yeah.
I believe that one has to plan a baby. So
Yes.
when you say plan a baby, planning a baby is not only about, okay, now we have decided to have a child, all right, and
Yeah.
so let's get on to the job. There is much more that goes into having a baby, like we had discussed
Yes.
the last time. So could you
Yeah.
throw light on that? What is planning? It is not only about your finances, it is
Yeah.
much more than that. So let's hear it
Yes.
from you.
Yeah. Actually, pregnancy has to be planned. Whether you want a pregnancy or you do not want a pregnancy, both need planning. So I really don't understand, because we as human beings, we keep planning for small things. We plan for a picnic, we plan to go for a movie, we plan so many things, but we do not plan for a pregnancy. And believe me, as parents, the most precious thing to us in the world is our child. So planning for pregnancy is very important. It comes under something called as the preconception care. And this preconception care has to begin 3 months before a couple is actually planning to conceive. Many people feel that I am healthy and moving about doing my job, और क्या planning करना है? No, it is not so. There are many aspects of preconceptional care. So whenever you go for this preconception care, there are various components. First one is will be assessment of your nutritional status. Now, what do I mean by that? Whether you're anemic, whether your B12 levels are normal, whether your vitamin D3 levels are normal. So that has to be seen. Then your reproductive history. That is, whether you had a miscarriage before, whether you had a normal pregnancy before, whether you had any problem during your delivery before. So that has to be looked into. The third part is your medicines and medical history. Suppose you're already suffering from hypertension, you're already suffering from diabetes, you're taking medications for something else, you're an epileptic. So these medications sometimes can have a harmful effect on the baby. So the dosage has to be monitored, or the drug has to be changed, so that if at all you conceive, it should not have a harmful effect on the baby. Then comes to the genetic screening. Genetic screening is whenever there is an abnormal child in the family, or if somebody has a history of thalassemia. So that screening also will have to be done. Then the next aspect is infections and immunization. Whether you are suffering from any infections, whether you are, suppose for example, we talk about rubella. If you are immune to rubella, then you need not take the rubella vaccine. But if you are not immune to rubella, and God forbid, if you contact rubella when you are pregnant, so that can have an effect on your baby. Then coming to your thyroid levels and all these aspects, and even lifestyle factors. Suppose a woman is smoking, so she has to stop smoking before she plans for a pregnancy. Forget about the woman, even if her husband smokes, we know that smoking causes a lot of chromosomal abnormalities, causes DNA mutations. So all these things have to be looked into and planned before 3 months, before she's actually planning to conceive. So I always talk about, people don't understand this, but I always talk about the seed and soil concepts. We have seen farmers preparing the soil and then planting the seed. Have you ever seen farmers just throwing the seeds into the soil and just hoping it, like chance le lo aur dekenge ki kuch उगता है या नहीं? Have you seen somebody doing it? No. So that's why, friends, pregnancy has to be planned. Planning, planning, and planning. That should be the motto.
I think you explained this beautifully, doctor. Basically, the case scenario is this, that if you decide to be pregnant and you think you are healthy, wonderful, but there is no harm. In fact, it's imperative that everybody goes on for a basic health check. You must meet
Yes.
a gynecologist at the right time,
Yeah.
right? So that all
Yes.
these fears are washed away and we can get on to the job. Now, doctor, if once we know that everything's clear, the road ahead is clear, and all we need to do is get going with our idea of having a baby,
Yeah.
it so happens that in that 1 year, you might
Yeah.
not conceive.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
what do you think? Is this going to be disheartening for the couple, that there are chances that they might have to go straight in for an IVF or something like this? Or is there a step-by-step process to solving the problem of infertility?
There is definitely a step-by-step process. There is no one size fits all. And just by consulting, like suppose a couple cannot conceive, they've waited enough for 1 year and they go to a gynec or a fertility specialist, that doesn't mean that they will be advised IVF. Believe me, there are simpler options. A simple counseling can help them, and a simple checkup can help us to find their fertility status. So the thing is, people keep waiting. They keep waiting for a very long time and they lose a lot of time in this process. So what I would say, like now when if you ask me a question like when exactly should we go to a doctor? So I would say, like as I told you, that when your couple has tried for 1 year and in spite of regular intercourse, they cannot conceive, they have to consult a doctor. But if the woman's age is more than 32 years and suppose the woman is suffering from PCOS or she's suffering from endometriosis or she has had surgery on the uterus or on the ovaries or she has a medical problem, she will have to consult a doctor earlier.
Is infertility purely a woman's problem?
Not at all. It's good you asked me this question, and this myth has to be busted because whenever a couple cannot conceive, the entire onus for pregnancy lies on the woman. You know, like log poste hai for that wife that you cannot bear a child, you cannot continue our family lineage and all that. But it is not so. Now, suppose we take about 100 infertile couples. In that 100 infertile couples, in 30% of women, the fault lies in them, and in 30% of the fault lies in men, and in another 30%, the fault lies in both the female partner and the male partner, and the 10 to 15% of couples, apparently all the reports are normal, but still they do not conceive. And we call that as unexplained infertility. So definitely, a woman should not be solely blamed for infertility. There can be problems in the male too.
Doctor, as we nowadays hear more of cases of female infertility, here because primarily talking about female infertility because on Adya we're talking about women's issues
Yes.
for now. Why do you think infertility is on the rise in women now?
Infertility is on the rise because now women are getting educated, they want a career, the age of marriage, like they marry a little later than what it was before. And even if women get married earlier, they do not want to conceive early. Like, you know, they have to settle with their job, they have to settle in their career, and then they think about marriage, and then they think about childbirth. So
Right.
they keep on postponing that marriage and postponing that childbirth. And that is why infertility is on the rise. And of course, our lifestyle factors, because there's a lot of stress and faulty food habits, lack of exercise. So all this compound the problem of infertility.
See, now the fact is that women are getting educated, women are going to have careers, and they will eventually marry a little late. So, what
Yes.
are the safety precautions or what care should women take if they eventually do desire to get married and have a baby and have a life where they want to have it all? So, what should they be doing in that case? Is there a particular kind of food or vitamins or what?
Okay, see, first of all, they should live a healthy lifestyle. Now, what I mean a healthy lifestyle by having healthy food, maintaining their weight and fitness and regular sleep hours. These are all very simple things. So at least they should take care of their health. And if at all they are planning a baby later, then they should at least in their late 30s or early 30s, they should get their fertility status checked, which is very important. And this
That
fertility
means
status
that
fertility
means
status, that means there are certain hormonal tests which tell us like how long the woman can wait to have a baby. So at least let her get that fertility assessment done. So she can at least know like, how long she can wait. It should not happen that once she's ready, once like, you know, she has finished with her job, career, done and dusted everything, and now she's prepared to have a baby, and suddenly she finds that her fertility status is very poor, it comes as a shock to most women. So that should not happen.
There are also some herbal alternatives that you see that one can have, because see, there are many
Yes,
people who it's not easy for them to keep popping all those pills. So do
yes,
you
yes.
suggest any herbal alternatives for the same?
Yes, there are certain herbs or the traditional Indian medicine, like suppose
Hmm.
Ashoka, Shatavari, Jatamansi, Lodra, all these herbs can help a woman, like, to maintain her menstrual regularity and ovulation. So these herbs do help.
Do help.
Yeah.
I'm not able to see any questions coming in on my screen at the moment. So there are a few questions that have come up to me. See, like you mentioned in the beginning of the discussion, that people should get their health checkups done before 3 months before they decide to start planning a baby, to see if they have
Yes.
diabetes or thyroid. We just touched
Yeah.
on these topics. We didn't tell people why it is important to do so. How does
Yes.
a woman's having diabetes going to be affecting the baby? How is her thyroid status going to affect her baby? Could you please throw light on that?
Okay. So now suppose let us take a simple thing of being overweight. Now, suppose the woman is overweight just when she's pregnant. So
Hmm.
this issue of overweight can compound a lot of things. Like she, because of her increase in weight, she's more prone to developing gestational diabetes. Gestational diabetes is diabetes when a woman develops diabetes in pregnancy after 5 months. She's not a diabetic before. Then
Yeah.
she's more prone to develop pregnancy-induced hypertension, and there are more chances of her having a very difficult labor. So, and in pregnancy, we all know that anyway, the woman is going to put on 10 to 12 kgs of weight. So, if she's already overweight before, then she will end up with a lot of problems. Similarly, with thyroid levels, suppose the thyroid levels are not normal, and during the time of conception, if a thyroid levels are not normal, and what will happen is, and if it is not treated, that child can have mental retardation. And the thing is, by the time a woman realizes she's pregnant, this harm would already have been done. So that is why I say that preconceptually checking all these levels is very important. Suppose if a woman is anemic, hemoglobin is not up to the mark, hemoglobin is very low, and she gets pregnant. So we know that the baby or the growing fetus in the womb, it gets all the nutrition from the mother. But if the mother herself is deficient in iron, then the child will not grow well. It may cause intrauterine growth retardation. It may cause complications in the mother as well. She will feel extreme fatigue, and she may be more prone to infections, and she may again develop hypertension. So many complications can occur. Now, the exact aim of this preconceptional care is to have a healthy mother and a healthy baby, and to prevent pregnancy complications. And now research has shown that the time during conception and the environment, the internal environment in the mother's body during conception is extremely important, because it can give rise to diseases in the child at a later stage. We call it as fetal origin of adult disease. So that is very important.
After listening to all of this, doctor,
Yeah.
do you think many will get scared about having a baby? There are so many
Oh,
factors to look at it. So
no, 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 no.
I think so that is not the intention. This is
Yes,
just to make
yes,
you
yes,
aware that we don't have problems later on. These are all
yes.
part and parcel. Maybe no one spoke about it earlier. We are talking about
Yeah.
it to make you aware, so that you don't have to face the problems that many women face. Um,
Yes.
you are a fertility expert, doctor.
Yeah.
Could you explain to our people who have joined in what are the different kind of options available to people if they end up being infertile, and how can they be helped in having a baby?
Okay. The first is like, as I said, after 1 year, or if you have any problems before, like endometriosis, PCOS, do not delay treatment. So why I say do not delay treatment? Because the sooner you take the treatment, and you take the treatment at a younger age, there will be more chances of success. So another thing, Rajeshwari, I forgot to mention that age and fertility. Age has a huge impact on fertility. So that is why I said like the woman should get married at a earlier, I mean, if possible, at an earlier age, and if possible, she should plan a pregnancy early. Why did I say that? Because age has a tremendous impact on fertility. Because the moment a woman reaches her late 20s, the quantity and the quality of her eggs begin to decline.
Deteriorate.
And after the age of 35, there's a very rapid decline. Now, this varies from woman to woman. We cannot say which woman is going to have that decline and how fast the eggs are going to decline. But here the problem is because of the advances in medicine, most women feel that IVF hai na, so I can conceive at any age. No, it is not so. Remember one thing, natural conception or IVF, the success rate is more when the patient is younger, and the success rate goes down as the woman's age goes up. Because remember one thing, whenever we do IVF, we are first of all using your eggs and we are using the available sperm. So the egg quality will be like whatever we receive. We cannot modify the egg quality or we cannot modify the eggs. Only thing is the fertilization which takes place is in the lab. And naturally, when the fertilization takes place, that is inside your body. Here we are doing the fertilization in the laboratory. So we are not changing the eggs or the sperm. So the egg has to be healthy. And age has a tremendous impact on the quality and quantity of eggs. Now coming to options, there are various options. As I said, a simple counseling can be done, a preliminary test can be done, nutritional assessment can be done. There are certain tests like FSH, LH, AMH, which tell us about the fertility status of the woman. Then we do sonography to find out how many eggs she has or how many eggs she can produce, and investigations, whether your tubes are normal. And after all those investigations, then we come to the treatment options or solutions. Now the solutions or the treatment depends on the cause of infertility, the duration of infertility, and the patient's age and what treatment they have taken before. So depending on these 4 factors, we tailor-make the treatment for each and every patient. So I'll just list out some of the options. The first will be, if the woman's tube is normal, we do something called as a intra, and if the woman is young, then we do something called as a intrauterine insemination. So in this,
That's
what we
called
do is
IUI. That's what is called IUI in common. Yes. Okay.
Yes, it is called IUI. So here what we do, normally a woman produces only 1 egg. So by giving her certain medications and by giving her certain injections, we produce more number of eggs. Why we produce more number of eggs? Because the moment the number of eggs increase, the chances of pregnancy also increase. So once these eggs are grown, we just monitor the growth and maturity of the eggs by doing a series of ultrasound scans called as follicular monitoring. So once the eggs are reach a particular size, and if when they are mature enough, we give an injection called as the trigger injection, and this ruptures the follicle and the egg is released. And on the same day, we process the male partner's sperm and we put it back into the uterus. So this process is called as intrauterine insemination. Now the success of this intrauterine insemination is 15 to 20%, and it usually works for couples who are young, and if the male partner's semen count is normal, so it works for those couples. Now suppose now this IUI does not give you success, then what do? Then we have to go to the next step called as in vitro fertilization. Nowadays, a lot of people are familiar with this IVF or in vitro fertilization. It is commonly called as test tube baby. So in vitro fertilization, we do the same thing. We give more injections, produce a lot many eggs. Then these eggs are taken outside the body of the woman by sonographic guidance by using a small needle. And this is done under general anesthesia. Okay, the woman does not feel any pain. Once the eggs are taken out, then we do the fertilization in the laboratory by taking the male partner's sperm. And after 2 or 3 days after the fertilization, once fertilization is the union of the egg and the sperm. So once the egg and sperm unite, they form the embryo and it grows. And after 48 to 72 hours, when the embryo grows, we put back the embryo inside the womb of the woman. And now the pregnancy is same as that of natural pregnancy. The child will continue to grow in the womb just like normal pregnancy. So that is called as IVF. Then there are certain improvements in advances in IVF called as ICSI, that is intracytoplasmic sperm injection, and this method is for those couples where the semen quality or the sperm count is very low. So in this method, what we do is like we have a robotic arrangement, like where there is one holding pipette which holds the egg and another pipette which holds the sperm, and the sperm is pushed inside the egg to cause fertilization, and the process is same like IVF. Once the embryo or the baby is cultured in the lab, we put it back into the womb of the mother. So these are the options, and I'm explaining to it in a very simple way.
Okay. Again, this is just for everyone's knowledge what the process is all about. When we talk of infertility, it has a very negative connotation in our heads. किसी को कह दे कि आप infertile हो, it's a shocker. But there's nothing to be really scared of. There are options, there are doctors, we have science on our side, and there's a lot that can help you. But having said that, because that's the new reality that everybody is going to now marry a little late and maybe have a child even later than that. Like doctor said, there's nothing to lose hope. Every body is different, but yes, if you see the nature of things, जो जिंदगी आपकी होती है, the way you age, some of the women might not be able to conceive as time goes by. So it's better to have the child at time, get it done, checked with a doctor. I must tell you this little incident, okay? When I and my husband and I were thinking of having a child, the same thing. So we thought bada aasan hoga, and this took like a year or so. And I remember talking to this school friend of mine who was a little older to me. And I said to her, I said, see, listen, if you plan to have a baby after 2 years, start now. Okay? Don't think कि मैं सोचूंगी और कल सुबह हो चुका होगा. तो देखना हम तो मतलब परेशान हो गए, तो बड़ा मुश्किल है. तो तो she said, अच्छा, okay. 15 to 20 days later, she calls me. Yeah, or maybe in a month's time, she calls me and she says, what kind of advice did you give me? I said, what? She said, I'm pregnant. I said, whoa, you tried and you got lucky in the first go. So, you know, that can happen. There is always a exception or a rule, whatever you might say to this. But yes, it's important to stay aware. The whole idea of, I'm just taking everybody back through this, the idea of this series is to make you aware of what a woman is going through, what you are going through, what your body is going through. So you are aware and you have your health in your own hands, and you can manage your life the way you want to once you are aware of the situation. There's one very important question I want to ask you, doctor. Now that we know that there are so many alternatives to having a baby a little late, one of that is egg freezing. Like you said, as you grow, the quality of the egg diminishes. So people are freezing eggs. What do you have to say to that?
See, it is a good option, because a lot of young women come to me and tell me, "Ki, doctor, now I'm 30, now I'm 32, but I have still not found a partner. So what do I do?" So I will freeze my eggs, and when I find a partner, I'll come back to you for IVF. So that's how they plan it. But of course, we have technology, so we have to make use of technology. But still, in spite of the freezing technology, everything, I always feel that I may sound a little old-fashioned, that women should plan the marriage and childbirth a little earlier. In spite, of course, we do freeze eggs and everything, that is fine. But still, I would give this advice.
No, I kind of agree to that. Of course, everybody has their own reasons for having a late baby, and no judgments on anybody at all. But yes, when I think of my childhood, and I remember my mother used to have all the energy in the world. She would wake up at 5 in the morning, wake us up, take us for a game of badminton, run everywhere with us, play with us for the longest time. And comparatively, compared to what her energy levels were, it's not the same with my child that I can do, you know. But having said that, to each his own. And Doctor, I think I'm just going through all that we discussed. There was one very
Yeah.
important point you said. Apart from the health factor, there is something called thalassemia that you discussed that people
Yes.
can look into before one they decide to have a baby. Or is it
Yeah.
something that you look at even before you get married to a person? Look into the family history if anybody has thalassemia. And if you can also
Yeah.
explain
Yeah.
that condition.
Yes, yes. See, yeah, it is very important that you know the family history of your partner. Because sometimes what happens, like the family history, the person may not even know. Like when suppose a couple comes, they have an abnormal child, and I just ask them that, do you know anybody in your family who has had a similar problem? Then they go back and start digging information, and they come and tell me later on कि हाँ ऐसे किसी किसी को हुआ था. So that is the problem. It is better if you ask for this history before marriage. I mean, you'll be that is a smart way of doing it. And we do screen people for, like, it as a part of the preconceptional care. Patients are screened for this thalassemia illness, because
Can
having
you
a child
explain
with thalassemia.
thalassemia to everybody? Can you just explain thalassemia?
Yeah, thalassemia is wherein the normal duration of the RBC is 120 days. So thalassemia is where these RBCs get destroyed very fast. And if suppose a child has thalassemia, then the child you'll have to take the child for frequent blood transfusions, and these frequent blood transfusions have a lot of side effects. And it really makes life hell for those parents. So you have to avoid that.
Yes. And anything else that they have to? You also mentioned about gene something. I missed that. Sorry.
Genetic abnormalities, yes,
Yes. Yes.
yes. Now,
So how
genetic
does one?
abnormality.
Huh.
Now, suppose a couple has a child of Down syndrome before, or somebody in the family has a child with Down syndrome or any other abnormality. So we have to screen that couple, like, for this, whether this abnormality exists. We do karyotyping or the genetic studies of both the parents as well, if any such thing occurs. So that is also very important.
So what we are talking about here for everybody else is this is not the rule, this is an exception. This is only about you
Yes, this
knowing
is an
that in case
exception.
there is a family history, this is an exception.
History.
So if there is
Yeah.
a family history and you want to be careful about it, it's good to have the knowledge to do so.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
And
At least tell your doctor. Tell your doctor. It may be significant or it may not be significant, but please do tell your doctor.
to suggest for all the women out there the basic um, vitamins or whatever they can put in their stomach to remain healthy, keep their reproductive health good and going.
Yes.
You would like to know what you have to say.
See, healthy food is required for each and every individual, whether the individual is planning to conceive or not, or no matter what they want to do. But everyone needs those vitamins. But in pregnancy, we usually say that folic acid supplements have to be given 3 months before a woman is planning to conceive, because deficiency
Before.
of folic acid, yeah, deficiency of folic acid can lead to abnormalities in the neural tube defect or the abnormalities in the spine. So that is why folic acid supplements have to be started before conception. And of course, all the other vitamins are also needed, like vitamin B6, B12, vitamin C, iron, everything is needed.
So basically, we need to take care of ourselves. What doctor, I'll to summarize what you have to say in one line. Basically, you
Yeah.
have to be aware as a woman of what goes inside you. For that, you might be a very busy person. You might be busy taking care of your family, your child, your work, and everything else. But it is your responsibility towards yourself to look at yourself and your health and believe in a healthy mind and body. For that, be aware and eat well, exercise well. And Doctor, you have given us some very valuable inputs. Thank you so much for your time. It was wonderful talking to you. And the Adya series continues. We will have next week Dr. Amey Purandare again, who will give us tips about women's health. It will be a different topic. we have a lot to talk about when it comes to women's health issues. It's not as simple as just having a baby. From the
Yes.
time of puberty, from growing up, puberty, to deciding to have a baby, to menopause, there's a lot that we all go through. And it's
Yes.
nice to hold each other's hand and know that we are all in it together and we have a support system. Thank you so
Yes,
much,
yeah.
ma'am. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you. Thank you.